Hello, 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 and welcome back to Mondays with Matt Costa Rica edition. You might notice I'm not in my studio. I'm not, in any sort of normal location. I'm in an abnormal, exceptional location. You might be able to tell from this toucan to my left that I am in the jungle. I arrived in Costa Rica yesterday for a plant medicine retreat that I'm going to be supporting and participating in with my buddies Aaron Dowdy and Victor Odo and a lot of our friends. Say hi, guys. Let me know you're excited to be here for Mondays with Matt. Give me a 1. I am delighted to have you. Yeah, we're in Nosara, Costa Rica, so it truly is paradise. I went out to the beach and got to explore a little bit and find some treasures out in the sand and just get grounded right for the journey that is to come, because we're going to be doing a 3-day plant medicine ceremony with ayahuasca and huachuma and all this beautiful stuff, and I get the feeling I'm going to be going really deep on this retreat, and the people are joining. Hi, Sandy Sanders. What's going on? It's so nice to have y'all here. Lee Metzler is here. Thank you so much. And for those of you that may not know me, I'm sure almost all of you do, but some of you may not, right? But my name is Matt Schaefer. I'm a transformational speaker and coach for women. I coach women around empowerment, connection, and relationship, and I am absolutely obsessed with the work that I do and the women that I serve, my marvelous, magnificent, magical magnets, many of whom watch this show each and every week from all around the globe, like Miss Carmela Greco. Ann Hughes is here. Hi, ladies. So wonderful to have you. And this is Mondays with Matt. This is my weekly transformational, inspirational, motivational Facebook Live show that I have been doing each and every week since January 2nd of 2017. Yes, we are coming up on, what is it? The 4 or the 5-year anniversary? I can't believe it. I can't believe it's been that long, but it's been such an honor and a privilege to do this with y'all. I've done this show I have not missed a week. I've done it from airports. I've done it from beaches. I've done it hungover. I've done it with the flu. I've done it in every possible imaginable scenario. I've done it from gas stations, that I will not miss, because it's my commitment to serve each and every one of you in having a co-creative dialogue around whatever is coming up for me in my life on my own transformational journey, right? So every week I come to you once a week with whatever is alive for me in this given moment in my own life, so that I can hopefully support you in your own process to become the best version of yourself. Hi, Marian Ernest. So nice to see you. Fosca's here. What's up, ladies? Leanne Cuppus. I love all you ladies so much. And the theme of this week's show is one that, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting this to be the theme of this week's show, right? But the theme of this week's show is whatever arises, love that. Whatever arises, love that. Hi, Bila. So nice to see you, sweetheart. And hi, Katie Smith. And so the reason that I picked this theme, first off, I'd love to hear from you, right? When I say the phrase, whatever arises, love that, what comes to your mind? What comes up for you? Hi, Sherry Woodard. Oh, yes, I'm living pura vida here in Costa Rica. It's absolutely beautiful. And but it's interesting, since I've gotten down here. Oh yeah, before we dive into the topic, before we dive into the theme, some of y'all have been asking me, how is my back? How is my back, right? And I got a pretty serious back spasm, a pretty serious back flare-up of some major lower back pain. It's been happening for a couple weeks, but it got really bad this last Monday. I was pretty debilitated, and it was pretty brutal, right? And so one of the things I've done, right, is as I was preparing for this trip, I just decided to radically accept, that I've hurt my back a little bit, and also just tell myself really and truly and deeply that it's not a big deal. That it's not a big deal. It's not going to inhibit my experience, right? I set a deep intention, right? That I am here to do my deep work. I am here to enjoy and experience whatever this trip has in store for me, right? And I'm not going to allow some back issue to undermine that. I sort of set that intention, and it's interesting. As soon as I set that intention, the back pain just sort of dissipated. It just sort of dissipated. And yes, it's still there, but because I'm not giving power to it in the way that I think about it, in the way, because I think we all have a tendency, or at least I have a tendency, that when I'm feeling bad, I tend to get kind of dramatic in my mind about it and what's going to happen and how it's going to impact my life. Give me a one if you've ever done that in your past. We have a tendency to be almost fatalistic when some bad things happen to us, right? Or some unfortunate or challenging things happen to us, right? Can give me a one? Make sure, are you guys able to see me? Hi, Care Christine. It's so nice to see you. I am in the jungles of Costa Rica, so there may be some internet niggles. Hopefully not. Yeah, but it's interesting. So I got here to Costa Rica, my back thing, I've just decided to let it go. I've just decided to not take it I'm not made up a story that this is going to hijack my trip or undermine my trip, right? So I'm focusing out. I'm focusing off of that. And just that in and of itself, I've decided to release it. Okay, beautiful. And so the theme of this week's show, and it sort of goes in alignment with that, right, is whatever arises, love that. And I picked the theme of that week's show, and I've already had a couple beautiful people respond to that, beautiful responses on what I mean by that, right, is radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. And I love that. I love that. And the present moment is perfect. And both of these two phrases are completely relatable and applicable to what it is that I want to talk to you about today, right? Because as I get down here to Costa Rica and I walk into this place, this is the Mango Cottage, right, at this resort that we're staying at, this retreat center that we're staying at, it's sort of a full circle moment. It's a full circle moment for me, because when I came down here back in early April of this year, I was in a very unique place in my life, in that I had just connected with a woman that would soon be my girlfriend for a while, named Becky Jean, right? And you might have heard about her. I've talked about her a lot in some of my past lives and past things in some of my past YouTube videos, right? Becky Jean was a woman that I met right before I came to Costa Rica in April, and when I came down here, I was like euphorically excited about her and about the potential of our relationship, and it was a continual topic of conversation, and a lot of our emotional connection sort of developed over the course of my time here, through messages and through texting and picture messages and voice messages, and we developed a deeper bond and connection, an emotional connection during my time here in Costa Rica. So she was a huge central theme of that trip and that retreat for me. And so as I walked into this cottage, I was immediately struck with this sort of heartache, even though I'm so excited, right? I'm so excited about the retreat. I'm so excited about this next phase of my life. I'm so excited about the fact that I've transitioned down from Portland to Austin, and I'm truly in what I'm very confident is my forever home, or at least my home for the foreseeable future, right? But underneath that excitement and underneath that, joy that I've got for being here in one of the most beautiful places in the world, set to go on this incredible experience and surrounded by amazing friends, is pain, right? Is heartache, right? Because I'm reminded everywhere I look in this house and everywhere I go as I'm living, down here, I'm reminded of the innocence and the excitement of, what my life with Becky Jean might look like, right? What all the things I was feeling and experiencing the last time I was down here, And so these feelings are coming up, and some of them are pretty painful, right? And yes, I didn't steal that from Matt Kahn. I also want to let you know, this is the title of Matt Kahn's book, Whatever Arises, Love That. And I think it's an incredibly powerful mantra, because in this moment and in this experience that I'm having, there's a lot of things coming up for me, right? There's some pain coming up for me. There's some heartache. There's, a lot of different thoughts and feelings coming up for me, right? And then whenever we have a thought or a feeling coming up for us, we have a choice. We have a choice on how we want to contextualize that feeling, on how we want to contextualize those thoughts, and what we want to do with them. How do we want to allow them to impact our being? You know what I'm saying? Does this make sense? And I say that because I want to land here first and foremost that you are never a victim or powerless to your feelings. You are never beholden. You are never forced to look at or think about or contextualize your feelings in a certain way. Okay? I think that happens to a lot of people. A feeling washes over them, and it may be a beautiful feeling, and it may be a painful feeling, and then we have a choice on what we want to do in response to that. And as Matt Kahn talks about in his book, and as I've been talking to all of y'all about in many different things, in many different lives that I've done and everything else, the answer is always to lead with love. To lead with love and respond with compassion, right? That is my mantra. And never is that more important than in our relationship with ourselves, than in our relationship with our own feelings. And of course, it's easy to love happy feelings, right? It's easy to love excitement. It's easy to love joy. It's easy to love possibility, or it can be, right? It can be more challenging, right, or counterintuitive to look at pain, to look at sorrow, to look at heartbreak, and to look at these other feelings and say, what would it look like for me to love them too? What if we were able to celebrate and love every feeling that arises within us, right? Because nothing that we're feeling, nothing that we're experiencing is inherently good or bad. The whole notion of good and bad are all ego judgments. You know what I'm saying? That's because, remember, your ego, right? Your ego and your pain body are constantly looking to be in pain avoidance mode. So they want you to think about any feeling of discomfort, any feeling of pain, any feeling of sorrow, any feeling of heartbreak, any feeling of anything like that. And they're trying to get you to say, ooh, that's bad. Let me run away from that. You know what I'm saying? What's up? Yvette gets what I'm saying. Give me a one if this makes sense to y'all. Hi, Sadie Lane. So nice to see you. Sarah Flaherty knows what I'm talking about. Marianne says, attitude is everything. Blank canvas. Exactly. There is no inherent judgment or value to your thoughts or feelings or association beyond the associations that you make with it, beyond the label that you give it. And so what I've got to do, what I've been privileged to do in this situation, right, is to I have a choice, right? I can either be reactive to that pain, I can be reactive to those feelings, I can be reactive to that nostalgia, and I can try to just push it all away. I can try to run away from it. I can try to suppress it, compartmentalize it, say this isn't me, say these are bad, and just try to shut it out, But is that serving me? Is that serving any of us? Does it serve us to run from our negative feelings? Does it serve to try to escape from the pain in our lives? Do you think that's ever going to make it go away? No. It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away if you do that, right? The only answer, the only constructive answer, right, is to love and celebrate every feeling, every emotion that comes up for us, and to say, you know what? I choose to love these feelings that I'm experiencing, and this is why. Yeah, my signal might be a little janky because I'm out here in the jungle. Yeah, so if you can hear me pretty smoothly, give me a one. Yeah, I'm in the jungle. So that might be a reason why this is why you're getting a little block choppiness out of me. Hold on one second. And Aaron's out there watching YouTube, so they might be putting a little extra strain on the on the signal. So what I'm doing, right, and how I'm choosing, all these feelings, all these memories, all these, what could have beens are coming up for me. And instead of, trying to dismiss it, trying to shut it out, trying to run away from it, I'm leaning into it. And I'm saying, I love these feelings, right? Because what do these feelings represent to me? They represent that I am I'm open, that my heart is open to love, right? I wouldn't have been able to feel that love without that pain. You know what I'm saying? Pain is it's a beautiful contrasting balance, right, to love. Love and pain are very much deeply connected. So I am grateful for the pain I'm feeling right now, because it's another way for me to connect with my heart. I don't just want to connect with my heart with the feel goods, with the good feels. You know what I'm saying? I want to be connected to my heart in all situations, in all experiences. And I want to feel the beautiful full spectrum of human experience. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel the highs of having beautiful, heart-centered, exciting connections with people that electrify me and that light me up. You know what I'm saying? And I want to feel the pain. I want to feel the pain of loss too. If you spend your entire life trying to run from, trying to escape pain, trying to suppress, any thought or thing that doesn't feel good to you, you're going to end up getting sick. You're going to end up compartmentalizing that, and it is going to end up sitting within you and rotting within you. Does this make sense? Dana's crying right now. Yeah. So I want you to look at I want you to look at your relationship with your emotional spectrum right now, and ask yourself, are you selectively celebrating and focusing on feelings? Are you only choosing to focus on and dive into the feel-goods? And are you running away from and avoiding pain, avoiding fear? Because let me tell you, you will never be able to fully experience the joy and the love and the excitement and what it fully means to be alive and human unless you are able to embrace and invite in all the full spectrum of human emotion. Yeah, think about it, guys. Without the darkness, you can't appreciate the light. Am I right? Without sadness, without pain, hi Caitlin Boytek, without heartbreak, you can't appreciate love. Without experiencing loneliness, you can't fully appreciate connection. The sweet doesn't taste so sweet without the bitter. You feel me here? And so, what does it look like for you to lean into and to love whatever is coming up for you? What does it look like for you to stop trying to run from the pain in your life, from the discomfort, from the tragedy, from the disappointment, from the loss? Fosca says, I found that this time the loss is hitting me deep. And that's beautiful, Fosca. The deeper a loss is hitting you, the more healing, the more growth, the more expansion is available on the other side of it. Does that make sense? Give me a one if this makes sense. Diane says, I'm literally going through this right now. Exactly. And I'm going to invite every one of you, remember, Matt Challenge, look at your relationship to the full spectrum of emotions in your life and identify, are there emotions that you are just straight up not giving the time of day to? Are there emotions that you are running from? Are there emotions that you are hiding, that you are compartmentalizing, that you are judging as bad and evil and contractive? Feelings are not good or bad. Feelings are feedback. Feelings are here to help us learn. Feelings are here to help guide us. Feelings are here to help teach us. Feelings are here to help us navigate this life and to connect deeper with ourselves. And the deeper the pain that we feel, the deeper the level of healing and growth and insight that's available from us on the other side of it. Okay? So when I share, and again, these are things that I'm not necessarily super comfortable sharing with you this stuff. I would love to sit here and tell you that, I got down here and it's all sunshine and puppy dogs, and that Becky Jean and I have been, we've parted ways months ago, and I'm 10 miles down the road and past it, right? And a lot of the time I am, in a sense. A lot of the time, I am feeling great. And a lot of the time, and I do recognize rationally and emotionally on every level, right, that our relationship concluded because that was what was absolutely necessary for my own next chapter. It was so perfect how it began, how it ran its course, and how it ended. you know? And it liberated me, and it freed me to flow into this beautiful next chapter of my life and come to my forever home and connect with my tribe and my community, right? The ending of that relationship was such a blessing, and I celebrate and love it. But there's also a part of me that still mourns it, that still mourns the ending of the timeline of the possibility of what might be. Because when I was down here last time, I was looking down the road and I was thinking, holy crap, I think this woman is the mother of my kids. I think we're going to get, when I was on ayahuasca, I had visions, you know, of a potential timeline where we had a family and we, you know, grew old together and all that stuff. And it was it was the first time in significant relationship where I have even been able to access that level of vision and excitement about a relationship that I've been in, you know? And so that was an intoxicating, beautiful period to me. And it was an easy period. Those feelings were easy to love. Whatever was arising up in me, it was very easy to fall in love with feeling that way. But I get to make a conscious choice because I truly feel that coming back to Costa Rica, being back in this house, and all of this stuff coming up for me now, this is the time, this is the moment, the full circle moment where I get to love that pain. I get to love the heartache that's happening within me. I get to celebrate it and celebrate the journey that I shared with her and celebrate the beginning, the middle, and the end of it. And truly come full circle on this and do that sort of final iteration of healing that I know I've needed to do. And I've been working on it, and I thought I was past it, and I think I am, by and large. You know what I'm saying? But this is going to be the final cleanup for that. So this is, and have y'all had experiences like that where you come back to a place where you have a great degree of memory or association with a person or with a particular time in your life, and then when you get back into that environment, all that stuff kind of comes up again? Have y'all ever been there? Give me a one if that makes sense to you, right? Because I feel this is a perfect full circle moment. This is a perfect opportunity for me as all this stuff comes up. I'm not running away from it. I'm not shutting it down. I'm not judging it. I'm not angry at it. I'm not frustrated with myself. Because I think the common narrative that so many of us have, right, is like, why is this still a thing for me? Why am I even still feeling anything about this person? Why am I even still, you know, why does any of it matter? You know, and it matters, right? Because we have, you know, there's levels to attachment. There's levels to connection. There's layers of the onion that need to be peeled back. As we heal one layer, we get access to the next. And I feel that, you know, after 3 months of doing the work and of processing this and of working through this, that in coming back to Costa Rica and coming back to this home, you know, this beautiful spiritual home of mine, that now I get to do the deepest level of work, release, and healing, and really close this chapter of my life with love. You know what I'm saying? So that's the challenge, right? Is to look at the MAC challenge for this week, is to look at the full spectrum of feelings that you're having in your life. Look at if you are selectively repressing and shutting any of them down, and then ask yourself, what does it look like for me to love and celebrate those feelings that I've been running from? What does it look like for me to embrace the heartache, to learn to celebrate the relationships that may have ended, you know? What does it look like for you to forgive yourself for something that may have come to an end and you blamed yourself for it? You know what I'm saying? Isn't it true that there's nobody harder on us than us? There's nobody who's going to blame you more for the things that aren't going right in your life than yourself. You know what I'm saying? Caitlin Grassi says, I still mourn the end of my last relationship because we ended on such bad terms. My ex is getting married Friday, and a lot is coming up for me, but without my experience. But without that experience, she would have never met her current boyfriend, who is a blessing, and who she's moving in with this weekend to start such a beautiful, happy chapter. What a miracle, right? And it's so beautiful, right, that relationship propelled you into the ending of that relationship, and how unpleasantly it may have ended, propelled you into the next phase of your life and opened up the space for the current beautiful relationship that you're in, right? And similarly, right, with me and my relationship, the fact that that relationship ended, it gave me that impetus and that inspiration. It propelled me into the next chapter of my life, into moving to Austin, where I know, within this next chapter of my life, I am going to build, my lifetime partner, my queen relationship, right, with the queen that I meant to spend my life with, and I get to be excited about that. And I get to be excited about everything that's moving forward. But guess what? I also get to be sad, at some level, and I get to lovingly mourn and release the closing of a chapter that I thought was going to be that person. You see what I'm saying? And I get to celebrate her as a beautiful step, a beautiful big step on the journey towards my mother of my kids and my wife and my life partner, my partner in shine, if you will. And I really want to land this with you ladies, because I know a lot of you are out there, you're dating, you're connecting with men, and you're getting frustrated. You're getting frustrated about the men you're connecting with, what they represent, and yada, 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 everything that's happening, And the bottom line is that a lot of times the journey to our life partner, right, it happens in increments. It doesn't happen all at once, And if we stay attached, so deeply attached to the outcome of a specific connection, if we spend our lives and if we allow ourselves to stay so devastated that this person that we were with, maybe was the one that got away and there'll never be another one. Energetically, do you think that is going to keep propelling you towards the person you're meant to be with? No. It is going to push you away from that person, right? So, and this is the sweet spot, right? We get to love whatever arises, right? We get to make a choice to love whatever arises for us. Joy, pain, fear, anxiety, exuberation. Can you love and celebrate the pain and the fear and the anxiety as a part of who you are, right? Nothing is outside of you. No feeling is outside of you. It's all part of the beautiful human spectrum of emotions. But then we get a choice on where we want to live, what emotional state we want to choose as our default setting. Does this make sense? So while I'm allowing myself to feel, this sense of heartache, as I'm allowing myself to, these memories, I'm allowing them to come up. I'm allowing myself to sort of like go back in time a little bit to that chapter of my life and to all the excitement. And I'm allowing myself to feel those things, and I'm allowing myself to love that, and love the pain that comes with that. But I'm also consciously releasing that stuff and redirecting my focus. After I process it, I redirect my focus back to all the reasons that this is the perfect present moment for me. That I am here, and I am single, and I am free, and I am looking at the beginning of this beautiful new chapter of my life, a chapter of my life that would have never opened were I still in that relationship. I would still be in a town that I was not in alignment with, in a part of the country that I was not in alignment with, that I have been trying to force myself to, I was trying to force a square peg into a round hole. 5-6 months of winter, 5-6 months of no sun and rain, that ain't my vibe. I gave it a shot, and it wasn't my vibe. Nice, balmy, hot, sunny, high energy, conscious people everywhere. That's my vibe. That's Austin. And that chapter only opened up to me because I was able to release that last relationship. So everything that happens to you is a blessing, right? And if we can adopt that mentality and find the blessing in every single experience we have, regardless of whether it's joyful, regardless of whether it's painful, heartbreaking, whatever, everything is happening for us, and everything, no matter how it feels, gets to be a stepping stone to our next evolution. Are you with me on this? This is so important. I know Jenny Achetan was saying that, yeah, she's really gotten to embrace this mentality with the shitstorm that she's been going through with her son's marriage and all of her stuff going on with that, and that's the thing, we get to anchor ourselves when we're going through challenging times, when we're going through turbulent times, when we're going through painful experiences, right? Instead of looking at them with judgment and pain and self-beat up and victim conversations, right? Instead of making yourself a victim to the painful experiences of your life, finding the blessing in them, celebrating them, loving them, and asking yourself, how is this an opportunity for me to evolve into my next iteration of self? How is this an opportunity for me to upgrade myself? How is this an opportunity for me to practice emotional intelligence, right? How is this an opportunity for me to practice letting go of attachment to the way things look? Because I believe Will Smith said this. I was watching this just earlier, his new docuseries or whatever. He's like, the sole law of the universe is impermanence. The sole law of the universe is impermanence. Everything is always changing. You are always changing. Your relationships are always changing. The people around you are always changing. The situations and the dynamics and the frequencies of the entire universe are always changing and evolving and expanding at the quantum level. So the more we can practice powerful focus combined with powerful awareness, combined with powerful detachment, and we can look at the world with curiosity instead of judgment. We can look at change as an inevitable part of our own growth and transformation, rather than this terrible, terrifying thing that's constantly uprooting us from safety, right? Safety does not come from permanence. Safety does not come from unchanging situations, right? That's a fucking illusion. Safety comes from you being so grounded in yourself, grounded in your strength, grounded in your value, that you recognize that you're not going to give your power away to anyone outside of yourself, to any feeling that arises within you, and that in every situation that you experience, both within yourself and without yourself out there in the world, you make a conscious choice to lead with love and to respond with compassion, to love everything that arises from you, and leverage it to achieve your next level of growth and expansion. Are you with me? Running from anything does not make it go away. Shutting something down, putting your head in the sand, ignoring it, waiting for it to go away is never going to make it go away. Okay? Are you with me? Give me one if this makes sense. Jenny says, I've spent so much time shutting shit down. Now circumstances are cracking things open. Yeah, see? The more you try to run from shit, the bigger it gets. That's the other point I want to make here, is that the more, if you decide that you're going to hate an emotion, you're going to hate a feeling, you're going to hate a thought that you have about yourself, you're going to have that judgment against these things that are scary or these things that don't feel good to you. Guess what you're doing when you're hating them? When you try to go to war against those feelings, you're feeding them, you're nourishing them. You're encouraging them to grow. If you ignore them and suppress them, you're encouraging them to grow. A tumor doesn't get smaller. A tumor in your body doesn't get smaller just because you choose to ignore it. Are you with me? Melissa says, I recognize the mirror in my past partner and thanked him, cutting energetic cords now and looking forward to a new chapter. Hello, 2022. Cut the cords. Exactly. The only cords that can stay connected within you are the ones that you allow, either consciously or unconsciously. Because tell me, is it or is it not true, it can be pretty fucking addictive to play the victim. It can be pretty addictive to give your power away, especially if you did it as a child. Especially if you have a tendency to do that in relationships. It's addictive to just allow yourself to be a victim to the scary world around you, or to a past relationship, and use it as a way to justify the circumstances in your life. Use it as a reason to justify sitting in your shit, sitting in misery, okay? And let me tell you, that's all just you rationalizing, and that's you consciously surrendering control, because it's the easy way out. It's the path of least resistance. And I'm going to implore you, do not take the easy way out, because you will end up resentful, you will end up drained, you will end up depleted, and you will end up building a life for yourself that has no sense of alignment. Because the more you give your power away to any person or anything or any feeling, the more you get pulled out of alignment. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to look around and you're going to say, who the fuck am I? How the fuck did I get here? And how the fuck do I get out? Are you with me? I've had those moments in my life too, where I've spent so much time giving my power away and going down the rabbit hole, trying to run from my pain, that I woke up in my bed one day, ODing on Oxycontin for the third time and being like, holy shit, I'm about to die in the wreckage of my failing restaurant. How did I get here? How did I become this person? You don't even recognize yourself. Have you all ever had a moment like that? Give me a one if you've had a moment like that. Nicole says, I have a vision now of marrying the guy I'll see in a few days. Woo, a life with his kids, but I'm not dependent on it and I'm prepared for any outcome. Beautiful, Nicole. But hard to stay open and vulnerable, not repress. Yeah, because here's the thing. To stay open and vulnerable and connected to a vision like that, guess what you get to do? You get to stay open and vulnerable both to the possibility of love and growth and expansion and profound achievement of everything you've ever wanted. And you also are open and vulnerable to the fact that it may end. And it may cause a great deal of pain for you. So that's why we get to look at our relationship with pain. And if we can love pain as much as we love joy and love, if we can love all the full spectrum of our emotions all equally as part of this beautiful human experience, then we can continue to evolve with every situation that we experience. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, I love it. Marianne says, you will. Texas is full of tall blinds. Like window blinds? I'm pretty sure you meant tall blondes. You're right, Marianne. I have had a tendency to gravitate more towards brunettes in the past. But again, I'm open to all possibility. Let's see. Yvette says, the people that cause us so much pain, they become the greatest emotional teachers for us. Yes, the people that cause us the most suffering tend to be our greatest teachers. The people that gut us, the people that leave us broken and depleted, are the people that tend to be the most expansive, beautiful, life-altering changes, because they give us the biggest opportunity to snap back into alignment. You know, because usually they've pulled us so far out that we get to rediscover who we truly are. And isn't that a blessing? Isn't that a blessing to do that? Diane says, I think I need to move to Austin. Sounds amazing. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Oh boy, we want to... Oh my gosh. Nicole says, I'm going to Vegas Friday and was planning to avoid the wonderful guy I dated for a long time to avoid pain. But then decided to embrace unknown, release attachment, and now he's meeting my family and wants to spend forever together. And look at that. It's because you're staying open to possibility and you're making the courageous choice. It is not necessarily the easy choice, right? But the courageous choice, the hard choice, that is often the choice that's in our greatest interests, right? As Joseph Campbell said, in the cave where your greatest, in the cave of your greatest fears lies the treasure you seek. So fundamentally, y'all, if we want love, if we want abundance, if we want freedom, those all come from leaning into our fear, from loving our fear, from loving our pain, from embracing it as a part of who we are. Because remember, nothing you're feeling is outside of yourself. No one is making you feel anything. Whatever they are doing, whatever experience you have, is going to invoke emotions to arise within you, and then you have the choice on what you get to do with it. And I promise you, if you close your heart, if you put up your walls, if you say, fuck it, I'm never going to allow myself to connect with anyone again because of what X guy or whatever my mom did to me, or whatever my ex-husband did to me, or whatever my babysitter did to me, or whatever, like, if we allow ourselves to shut down and lock up and try to create some semblance of safety out of that, you're getting out of the frying pan into the fire. You're saying, I would rather be alone. I would rather be disconnected. I would rather manufacture my own misery than give anyone the chance to love me and see me for who I truly am. And do you think there is any true joy there? Do you think there's any true empowerment there? Let me tell you unequivocally, no. Nothing that you want lies in your walls. Nothing that you want, nothing that you want to create, the life you want to create does not happen in isolation. It doesn't happen by choosing safety over courageous vulnerability. The life you want comes from radical acceptance. The life you want comes from looking at the unknown with curiosity, looking at your feelings with curiosity and openness, from embracing the fact that you will never be given any experience that you cannot handle. You will never be given any trauma, any suffering that is not more than you can deal with and that is not going to help you grow and evolve if you allow it to. Okay? Dana says, 2 months since I had my panic attack. I'm continuing my journey of having an open heart. Surgery to remove the bump on my forehead this Wednesday. Finally. Boom! And see, this is the amazing thing, is that when we allow ourselves to stay open, when we allow ourselves to feel everything and let it move through us and keep choosing joy, staying open to all the feelings, but choosing joy, choosing openness, choosing vulnerability, choosing radical acceptance, and continuing to move forward with a vision of what we want our lives to look like, what we get to step into, guess what? That's stepping into leadership. That's stepping into your highest possibility. That is putting yourself in a vibrational state that is going to allow you to call in and attract everything that you want in your life. I wanted to have a life of freedom. I wanted to have a life where I came to cool places. Up until a couple years ago, I hadn't traveled at all. I had never left the country. And I decided that that wasn't a life that I wanted to live anymore. I wanted to connect with people that like to travel. I wanted to build a business that allowed me the freedom to work from wherever I wanted, and I wanted to have friends that I could do that with. And here I am. You know? And is there a next step for me? Of course. There's another fucking 1,000 steps for me. There's always going to be more steps. There's always going to be more evolution for you to engage in, right? But the question is, there's always going to be a gap between where you are and where you want to be. The question is, what do you want your relationship with that gap to be? It can either be that gap between where you are and where you want to be. It can either be this permanent state of depressing incompletion and not enoughness, right? It can be a constant narrative of, oh, I'm never going to be the person I want to be. Or it can, this unknown, this little gap between where you are and where you want to be, that's where your entire life happens. That's where the joy of your journey takes place. That's where all the miracles happen. That's where that beautiful full spectrum of life experience happens. You can't go on a hike if you are fundamentally unwilling to stub your toe. You cannot go on a hike if you are fundamentally unwilling to risk twisting your ankle. Okay? The degree of risk that you are willing to take, the degree of uncertainty that you are willing to tolerate will be directly tied to the level of joy and fulfillment and expansion and creation that you are going to be able to embody in this lifetime. Are you with me here? Give me a 1 if this makes sense. Carmela says, I realized I had suppressed stuff for years. Now I'm acknowledging it all. Acknowledging it all. It's all beautiful, ladies. It is all beautiful. Boom. Danielle says, those that stay open during, what does she say here? Danielle says, those that stay open during these times are those that end up finding true inner tranquility. Exactly. Because you realize that true tranquility doesn't happen from anything that you build outside of yourself. True tranquility comes from being at peace and truly believing in yourself, trusting in yourself, trusting that you're strong enough to handle anything that comes your way. Trust yourself that you have the discernment, that you're working on yourself, that you are going to be able to alchemize pain and fear into love and joy. Trusting in your own emotional intelligence to be able to, continue to grow and expand from everything that happens to you. That's where true peace comes from. When you recognize that you're enough, you're strong enough, you're worthy enough, you are whole and complete. You don't need anyone or anything to create that space for you. So I want you to give me a 1 if you're on board with this. I want you to give me a 1 if you are committed from this moment forward to embracing the full spectrum of emotions and experiences that life is going to gift you with, right? Life is going to gift you with a beautiful spectrum of experiences. Beautiful, painful, joyful, sorrowful. And you're never going to allow yourself to step into isolation, to choose safety over freedom, to choose isolation over connection. Because that's the only way that you become a victim in this world and in this life. And I know if you're watching this, I know if you're a member of my community, that you are not a victim. You don't want to be a victim. And we get to wake up every day and make a conscious choice that we are not going to give our power away to anyone, anything, any experience, or any feeling. And whatever arises within you, whatever arises in your path on this journey, you get to meet it with love. Are you with me? Give me a 1, y'all, because I'm leaning in. I'm doing this deep work, baby. I'm going to be doing deep work this weekend. I know this is going to be incredibly healing, incredibly expansive, incredibly cathartic. And I'm going to fully close the book on this incredible chapter of my life, my time in Portland, my relationship with Becky Jean, this entire stage of my life. I get to close that book this weekend and experience and love and release all the feelings and all the thoughts that come up along with it. And I get to step into my next chapter, my next evolution as I leave Costa Rica on this trip, or during this trip. Even would be even better, right? So that's my commitment. That's my intention for this next little window of my own life. And I invite each and every one of you to set a similar intention. If the narrative is getting a little, if you're over it, if you're over the narrative of this chapter in your life, make a conscious choice to close it. Make a conscious choice to feel and process whatever is coming up for you and to say, I'm setting an intention to move into a new chapter and to come back into alignment with who I truly am. Okay? Are y'all with me? Give me a 1 if this makes sense. Boom. Carmela says, I used to live there in the walls, felt very lonely and sad and frustrated. Not anymore, right, Carmela? Boom. Because I guarantee you, if you do this work, I guarantee you, if you step into your heart and you share your heart fearlessly and courageously with the people that are open to see it and feel it and experience it, you are going to connect with aligned people who are going to love you and celebrate you and cherish you and give you more anchoring, right, and more grounding to help you withstand and expand from anything that life puts in your path. I like that, withstand and expand. That's good. Boom. You're right, Joanne Bateman. Without those experiences, you wouldn't be you. Yeah. We are forged oftentimes. We are forged. The depth of who we are, the depth of our own strength is forged in our most challenging moments. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be a tempered steel, like just badass that can, expand and grow through everything? Or do you want to be a leaf in the wind, getting constantly blown around by your feelings and your thoughts and the instability and the change in life, right? Because, as we said earlier, right, the only law of the universe is impermanence. Nothing will ever be permanent. So you get to choose whether you want to be a tree rooted in your own greatness or whether you want to be a leaf just blowing in the wind until it hits the ground. Okay, I know for me, I want to be a tree. That's why I have the tree of life on my wall in my living room, right? Deep roots, but branches that are always reaching up and growing to get as much of that beautiful sunlight as possible, okay? So I hope that this resonated with you, ladies. I hope that this inspires you to lean into those uncomfortable feelings in your own life. It inspires you to dive into the full, beautiful spectrum from joy to sorrow to pain to freedom to expansion and love it all the same, right? Because at the end of the day, that is a choice that you get to make. All right, ladies, lots of love to all of you. I'm going to go jump in the pool because it's a little balmy in here. It's hot in Costa Rica. It is hot and balmy in Costa Rica, even at night. So I'm going to go jump in the pool and cool off, sending you so much love. Give me a 1 if you're committed. Give me a 1 if you're on board with this. Let's get everybody on board. Oh, thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate you. Diane Brooks is inspired. Melissa's on board. She says, nice toucan. It is a nice toucan, isn't it? And to all of my magnets from all over the world, know that you are all here in spirit and that everything that I'm going to be experiencing on this retreat, all this expansive, beautiful stuff that I'm going to be experiencing during my ayahuasca ceremony, during Wachuma, and throughout the beautiful week that I'm about to have, buckle up because I will be sharing it with you next week on Mondays with Matt, okay? So I will be bringing you a message directly from the fifth dimension. My Mondays with Matts were very interesting while I was here on my last retreat. Anybody who's been around for a while remembers those. So Liz is in. Baila is in. Carmela is in. Oh, love you, Carmela Greco. Melissa Brindley is in. Dana. Tamenia. Sarah Flaherty. Love you, Silva Kua. Silva is in. I'm so glad Silva got to watch from all the way across the ocean. Ann Russell. Boom. Caitlin says, perfect talk to begin my new chapter of living with my boyfriend. Exactly. We all have a beautiful new chapter that's just ready to open up for us as long as we have the courage to turn the page. So, sending you ladies lots of love. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to probably be pretty much off the grid this week. I'll probably do some Instagram stories or whatever, Facebook stories. But outside of that, I will see you next week with some serious downloads on Mondays with Matt. Have a wonderful week, ladies. Lots of love. Bye-bye.